Log is not.
That is not going. Yeah. It should be okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's done. Time is the governance.
So we will start with Sri Omkaras.
You do for 15 minutes. Till 7.
From 7 to 8. So we will do some Veda chanting. So if you know, you can join me. Otherwise, we'll do Meda Sutta and Narayana. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Gananam tva Ganapatigam Havamahe Kavim Kavinamupamastravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspadaana Srunvannutivissida Sadhanam Mahaganapataye Namaha. Prano Devi Saraswati Vaje Virvadinivati Deenama Vitrayavatu Vagdevyai Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Yaschandasa Vrishavo Vishwarupaha Chandobhyodhyamrita Sambhavuva Samedaya Medaya Pranatu Amritasya Devadharano Bhuyasam Shariram Me Vicharshanam Jitva Me Madhumattama Karnabhyam Bhuri Vishruvam Brahmana Koshosi Medaya Pitaha Srutam Me Gopaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Medha Devi Jushamana Naga Vishwaji Bhadra Sumanasya Swaya Jushta Nudamana Duruktan Brihadvadeva Vidate Suvira Swaya Jushta Rushir Bhavati Devi Swaya Brahma Gata Sri Rudatvaya Swaya Jushta Chitram Vindate Vadutano Jushasvadravino Namede Medam Mahindro Dhadatu Medam Devi Saraswati Medam Me Ashvina Bhava Dattam Pushkara Sraja Apsara Sushaya Meda Gandharveshu Jayan Manaha दैवी मेधा सरस्वती सामां मेधा सुरभिर्जुषता स्वाहा आमां मेधा सुरभिर्विश्वरूपा हिरण्यवर्णा जगती जगम्या ऊर्जस्वती पयसा पिन्वमाना सामां मेधा सुप्रतीकाजुषन्ताम् मयि मेधां मयि प्रजां मयि अग्निस्तेजो ददातु मयि मेधां मयि प्रजां मयि इन्द्रियं ददातु मयि मेधां मयि प्रजां मयि सूर्यो प्राजो ददातु हंसाय विद्महे परमहंसाय धीमहि तन्नो हंसः प्रचोदयात् ओम शांति 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 ओम सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ओम शांति 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 ओम सहस्रशीर्षं देवं विश्वाक्षं विश्वशंभुवं विश्वं नारायणं देवमक्षरं परमं पदं विश्वतः परमानि नित्यं विश्वं नारायणं हरिम् विश्वमेवेदं पुरुषस्तद्विश्वमुपजीवति पतिं विश्वस्यात्मेश्वरगुं शाश्वतगुं शिवमच्युतं नारायणं महाज्ञेयं विश्वात्मानं परायणं नारायणपरो ज्योतिरात्मा नारायणः परः नारायण परं ब्रह्म तत्त्वं नारायणः परः नारायण परो ज्ञाता ज्ञानं नारायणः परः यच्च किञ्चित् जगत् सर्वं दृश्यते श्रूयतेऽपि वा अन्तर्बहिश्च तत्सर्वं व्याप्य नारायण स्थितः अनन्तमव्ययं कविगुं समुद्रेऽन्तं विश्वशम्भुवम् पद्मकोशप्रतीकाशुगुं हृदयं चाप्यतोमुखम् अधो नित्यावितस्यां तेनाभ्यामुपरि तिष्ठति ज्वालमालाकुलं भाति विश्वस्यायतनं महत् संततगुं शिलाभिस्फुलं पत्याकोशसन्निभम् तस्यान्ते सुशिरगुं सूक्ष्मं तस्मिन् सर्वं प्रतिष्ठितम् तस्य मध्ये महानग्निर्विश्वाचिर्विश्वतोमुखः सोऽग्रभुग्विवदन्तिस्तन्नाहारमदरः तिर्यगोर्ध्वमदशायीरश्मयस्तस्य सन्तता सन्तापयति स्वन्देहमापादतलमस्तकः तस्य मध्ये वह्निशिखान्मणीयोर्भागमस्थितः नीलतो यतमध्यस्था विद्युल्लेखे भवास्वरा नीवारशूकवत्तन्नीपीतावास्पत्यनोपमा तस्या शिखाया मध्ये परमात्मा व्यवस्थितः स ब्रह्म स शिवः स हरिश्चेन्द्रः सोऽक्षरः परमस्वराट् ऋतगं सत्यं परं ब्रह्म पुरुषं कृष्णपिङ्गलम् ऊर्ध्वरेतं विरूपाक्षं विश्वरूपाय वै नमो नमः ॐ नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णुः प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ तत्सत् श्री Ramakrishnaarpanamastu. So we will do some bhajans now, like couple of bhajans. This one is a lead and follow, very easy one. So like how it goes is like I will lead, like both the lines I will lead, and then you just follow me. Okay? It's a pretty easy one. Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Pahi Ma. Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Raksha Mam.
Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Pahi Ma. Jaya Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Raksha Mam.
Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Pahi Ma. Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Raksha Mam.
Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Pahi Ma. Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Raksha Mam.
Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Pahi Mam. Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Raksha Mam.
Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Pahi Ma. Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Raksha Mam.
Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Pahi Mam. Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Raksha Mam.
Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Pahi Ma. Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Raksha Mam.
Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Pahi Mam. Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Raksha Mam.
Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Pahi Ma. Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Raksha Mam.
Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Pahi Mam. Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Raksha Mam.
Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Pahi Ma. Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Raksha Mam.
Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Pahi Mam. Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Raksha Mam.
Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Pahi Ma. Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Raksha Mam.
Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Pahi Mam. Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Raksha Mam.
Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Pahi Ma. Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Raksha Mam.
Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Pahi Mam. Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Raksha Mam.
Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Pahi Ma. Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Raksha Mam.
Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Pahi Mam. Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Raksha Mam.
Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Pahi Ma. Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Raksha Mam.
Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Pahi Mam. Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Raksha Mam.
Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Pahi Ma. Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Raksha Mam.
Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Pahi Mam. Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Raksha Mam.
Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Pahi Ma. Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Raksha Mam.
This is, I think everyone knows this simple one. Again, Yamuna Tira Vihari. So you can sing together if you guys all join. The lines are there, very easy. Yamuna Tira Vihari, वृंदावन संचारी यमुना तीर विहारी वृंदावन संचारी गोवर्धन गिरिधारी गोपाल कृष्ण मुरारी गोवर्धन गिरिधारी गोपाल कृष्ण मुरारी सरयू तीर विहारी मुनि मानस संचारी सरयू तीर विहारी मुनि मानस संचारी दानव मद संहारी श्री रामचंद्र मुरारी दानव मद संहारी श्री रामचंद्र मुरारी गंगा तीर विहारी ब्रह्मानंद संचारी गंगा तीर विहारी ब्रह्मानंद संचारी लीला विग्रहधारी श्री रामकृष्ण मुरारी लीला विग्रहधारी श्री रामकृष्ण मुरारी गोपाल कृष्ण मुरारी श्री रामचंद्र मुरारी श्री रामकृष्ण मुरारी. This is again duet, like take lead and follow one, very easy. So I will say one line, you can repeat after me one line. Bhajo Rama Krishna, Japo Rama Krishna,
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 Gaho Rama Krishna, Sri Ramakrishna,
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 Bhajo Rama Krishna, Japo Rama Krishna,
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 Gaho Rama Krishna, Sri Ramakrishna,
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 Bhajo Rama Krishna, Japo Rama Krishna,
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 Gaho Rama Krishna, Sri Ramakrishna,
Gaho Rama Krishna, Sri Ramakrishna,
Gaho Rama Krishna, Sri Ramakrishna, Krishna.
Bhajo Ramakrishna, Sri Ramakrishna.
Bhajo Ramakrishna, Japo Ramakrishna.
Bhajo Ramakrishna, Japo Ramakrishna.
Bhajo Ramakrishna, Japo Ramakrishna.
Bhajo Ramakrishna, Japo Ramakrishna.
Gaho Ramakrishna, Sri 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 Ramakrishna.
Bhajo Ramakrishna, Japo Ramakrishna.
Bhajo Ramakrishna, Japo Ramakrishna. No need. Om Jananim Saradam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Sritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu. Taking refuge in the holy feet of Sri Sarada, the Universal Mother, and Sri Ramakrishna, Universal Teacher, I take refuge and do my salutations again and again to them. Kalyananam abhikalanidhi kapi karunya sema nityamodha nigamavachasam mauli mandara mala sampad madhu vijayinah sannidattam sadame saisha devi sakala bhuvana prarthana kamadhenuho. Meaning, may Divine Mother, the infinite source of all auspicious things, the ultimate abode of compassion, one who is glorified in the Vedanta, the divine consort of Sri Ramakrishna, and the unique benefactor of all the worlds, always manifest before me. Ye yatam mam prapadyante tam tataiva bhajamyaham mama vartanu vartante manushyaha partha sarvashaha. Whoever resort to me in any manner, in the same manner do I favor them. Men experience me alone in different ways. O Arjuna, there is a beautiful song in Telugu. Yenta matra mauno yavuvaru talachina anta matra me neevu. So this says that however you call the God, he appears in the same way to us. Yo yo yam yam tanum bhaktah shraddhayarchitum ichchasi tasya achalam shraddham tameva vidadhamyaham. Whatever celestial form a devotee seeks to worship with faith, I study the faith of such a person in that form. So my humble namaskarams to you all. So I have to chant all these Mangala slokas so that it gives an importance of our topic. So before I say what the topic is, I want to give a disclaimer. A disclaimer is, Swamiji says that Sri Ramakrishna always told him that he often forget. So what is that? Sri Ramakrishna told him, first have something to give. He alone teaches who has something to give. For teaching is not just talking. Rather, teaching is imparting doctrines. It's not just imparting doctrines. It's just communication. So please don't think I'm teaching you all. It is Sachitananda who teaches. Sri Ramakrishna always says that, and such Sachitananda is present in each one of our heart already. All we need to do is to keep ourselves available for his instructions. Now, Sachitananda is not his or her. There is no any gender. It can be all genders also. So this is the disclaimer. Our topic today is an introduction to Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Now, I don't know whether we have enough time to cover the entire message today. So if not, in subsequent classes, it will be taken. So today, we will see what this gospel contains and reading that, what are we going to gain? And what are the things it teaches us? And of course, we must know the author, that is Mahendranath Gupta, and it is focused on Sri Ramakrishna. Gospel can be defined as like a Gita. It is Ramakrishna Gita. Or we can say a counsel for all our problems. So Ramakrishna himself said that it is Divine Mother who spoke through his mouth. He never said that it is his own revelation. So that we should keep this in our mind. And it starts like this. Ami Jantra Tumi Jontri. It is a Bengali statement which means I am the instrument and you are the operator. Now the second is it is focusing on Kamini Kanchana. Please don't think that it is encouraging. It is telling us how to get rid of this from our life. So that is lust and gold. So we call it as Maya or wrong identification. Now Mahendranath Gupta is a recorder of this Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. He wrote in Bengali. And he has the habit of keeping a diary from 1867 when he was studying class 7 in Hare School in Kolkata. Later he says in his recording that it was all pre-planned and predestined. And he got this habit of keeping this diary because in future he is going to record the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. So he achieved that. He used to just briefly hear some of the wisdom words of Sri Ramakrishna, then come to his house. And he had a place in his, like a very quiet shrine in his top floor of his house, which he called it as Naimisharanya. And there he used to think a lot about those small wisdom words of Sri Ramakrishna, and he enters Samadhi, a trance. And there Ramakrishna used to reveal all the importance of that particular word which he conveyed. Then he used to start writing the gospel. So it all started uh, from 1882. And I want to give a note here. That is 10 years before that 1882. That is 1872. Holy Mother arrived in Dakshineshwar. So Vishnu is there in the form of Ramakrishna. Lakshmi is already arrived in the form of Holy Mother. And the whole Bhagavatam is going to be held. And he is the recording that as a Vyasa. So this is the scene. Now, we have many problems in our life. And we seek the holy scriptures like Gita, Bible, Quran, and Ramayana, Mahabharata, and take solutions from those scriptures, or we even hear from our well-wishers, godfathers, or some expertise doctors who give some advices for our well-being. So I will tell you a story, which I already told in our center, but just little modification. Maybe Susie would know. There lived a man like me, or like one of us, who always thought that his problem is the biggest problem. He has lots of problems, and he thought that that problem is the biggest problem amongst all. So he always thinks that, oh, my neighbor doesn't have a problem, or he lives happily. So I see him every day driving car happily. He's taking his wife to various places. His children are happy. I'm the only one who is suffering all the time. And he always thinks like that. So one day, he always thought, okay, let me have my neighbor's lifestyle, because I see him always happy. It's only me who is suffering all the time, and the God is there only to put me in trouble. This is our prayers. So he was praying intensely to God. The God appeared to him and said, okay, son or daughter, you put all your problems in a bag, and I will inform all your neighbors to put their problems in a bag, and bring all, ask them to assemble in a temple in the village. So all of you are going to meet me in the temple next day morning. So this fellow was very happy, and in fact he prayed to God this way before, that night before. He said, God, you please remove my problem. In fact, you give my problem to my neighbor, and let me take my neighbor's problem with me, so that he is having less problem according to him. So I want the exchange. So God said, okay, granted. So your prayers will be fulfilled. So tomorrow you are going to come with your problems in a bag, and all your neighbors will come with their problems filled in a bag to meet me in the temple. So the next day happened. So he happily filled all these problems in a bag, and he was marching towards the temple. Then I suddenly noticed all his neighbors, friends were all carrying like that, but they were having much bigger size than him. One was carrying a bag on one sack of problems on his head, and for others are carrying their problems in a cart. Some are some have filled their problems in a truck and driving it towards. Actually, his problem is the smallest problem in a small carry bag. Then he thought, should I have to exchange my problems with my neighbor? Then he was thinking. Then, anyway, God has, made that decision. So all assembled in the temple courtyard. Then God said, okay, I'm happy that you all have come. So there is a hangers there. Please hang your problem bags on that hangers. Now I will put this light off. I will make the whole courtyard dark. So you can choose whichever the problem you want of your neighbor. Then God did that. Then after 5 minutes, the light was on back. And nobody moved anywhere. Everybody is standing still. And nobody wanted to take anybody's bag. Then God asked why. This is what your prayers. You always said your neighbor is having less problem than you. Now all have brought their problems. Why don't you exchange? Then one of our friends said, known problem is better than unknown. So it is better for us to manage with what we have rather than looking out for the other problems. So this is the plight of our life. So yes, we all have problem, but here Ramakrishna is not going to talk or discuss like this type of material problems. So what does this book mainly teaches us? To understand the purpose of life. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, earn for God center. Now, where is God? Where is God? So this is being told very elaborately in Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Ramakrishna clearly says, one who is within in each one of us is same as in the whole universe. And there are 4 things which are mainly taught in this 4 or 5 in this Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. One is renunciation and removal of doubts. We say samshaya nasha. Our Swamiji also mentions in one of his hymns to Sri Ramakrishna, samshaya nasa. It's a renunciation. Now, renunciation means not that we are just going to leave everything and walk away on the street. Not that way. Renunciation is like mentally is a way to attain God. And at the same time, concentration. When we concentrate, we are practicing renunciation. Thomas Edison, he used to sit and think a lot. And for all his scientific problems, he used to sit in a table and keep thinking so much, focused on his that day findings. When the people will come, his servant will come and serve the breakfast, he wouldn't know. And the lunch, he wouldn't know. He would spend sleepless night thinking about the scientific problems to get solution for that. So when he focuses on something, he has to renounce many other things. So here, when we focus on God, so all other things stand secondary. There is a beautiful story. Once a man met Sri Ramakrishna in his Dakshineshwar temple garden. He donated him 1,000 rupees or $1,000. It's something a very big amount. Then Ramakrishna happily accepted that $1,000. Then Thakur said, okay, now I'm giving you a task. Take this $1,000, go to the bank of Ganges and throw everything in the Ganges. This fellow took the money and went to the Ganges, and he did not return. Then he felt Sri Ramakrishna was waiting for this fellow. He is not coming back. So then he called his another devotee and said, "Hey, you go and find what happened to this man. I told him to throw the coin, but had he thrown himself in the Ganges? I don't know. Please go and find what is happening." So the messenger went and checked what is happening in the banks. So this man, and after some time, the messenger came back to Sri Ramakrishna, and Ramakrishna heard from him what is happening. The messenger said that this fellow whom you sent is throwing the coin slowly and is weeping there, sitting and weeping, and all others are preventing him to throw the coin. Then Ramakrishna went himself to the bank, and he asked, "What are you doing? What did I tell you? I told you to throw all the coins, but why are you throwing one after another?" Then that fellow said, "Oh, this is my habit." Then Sri Ramakrishna said, "Did you earn all this money at one time? You earned it progressively. Then what is the need for you to worry when you want to lose it all at once? So you should be ready to lose everything at one go." Now the message is not that to give up everything and walk on the street. It is not something that throw away everything and walk on the street. What he says is, once you gave something heartfully to someone, don't expect anything. Give heartfully. That is the attach. That is what you call unattachment, detachment. And Swamiji says, the nature will force you to give, so ever give willingly. So this is the idea of the renunciation. And his name himself suggests Rama and Krishna. The Rama is focused on character building, and Krishna is focused on loving others. So this is one of the message from Gospel of Ramakrishna. The second is, the religions of the world are not contradictory or antagonistic. We have many religions: Hindu, Muslim, Islam, Christianity, Judaism, and within we have sects like Vaishnavism, Tantrism, Tantra, Saivism, and many other isms. So they are not contradicting to each other. All are individual paths, approved paths to lead God. The third is unity in diversity. A synthetic philosophy. Sri Ramakrishna shifts our philosophical thoughts, understanding from illusionism and asceticism and world negating towards synthetic or synoptic thinking, and the need of universal love. Synoptic thinking means like having everything in together. Synoptic thinking and the need of universal love. So service to human is service to God. And fourth, the gospel teaches us, do not try to disturb the faith of others. That is very important. If we can give something better to that person, only then we have to interfere. Otherwise, never disturb the faith of another person. So this is one of the main message given in by our gospel. Now, the master's message to the mankind is be spiritual and realize truth for yourself. So our problems have to be solved by ourselves. So I will tell you a story. There is a monastery, and there was a monk, well-renowned monk, like Sarvapriyanandaji, who was giving a beautiful discourses. And people were flocking to come and meet him, hear his discourses and all this. So 3 families came from distance. And they were made to sit. And he started his discourse. Satyam nanam anantam brahma Eshavashamitagum sarvam yat kinchit jagatyam jagat sarvam kalvidam brahma. All these Vedantic expositions were taught, and the discourse was going on for a long time. And these 3 families, they become hungry. They were listening, and suddenly the bubukshu, that hungriness, started creeping in their mind, and started thinking, when will the Swami finish that lecture? And we'll have to go immediately have prasadam, means the food. So they were waiting because genuinely they were hungry. But Swami did not care, and he took his own time. And I hope nobody is hungry now. So if we are hungry, we will have some small break. And nor that I am a Sarva Priyananda, that also I will say. So he then somehow he completed the discourse. Then they said, okay, now the time to go and have food. So the 3 families were accompanied by the Swami to the dining hall. The dining hall, they found a bowl covered, it is covered by a lid. Then they thought, oh, this is the food for us kept ready. So we have to just take the plates and start having, collect the cutleries and start having. Then they all assemble and they open the lid. They found a key. Nothing was there, just a key. Then again they started imagining, oh, the key is for our kitchen key. So I have to open the kitchen, and the food is all kept ready there. All I have to bring the food from the kitchen and keep it on the dining table and have. So they eagerly took the key. Swami was there, was watching all this, and upon his supervision, this was happening. So they took the key and they opened the kitchen. No food was there. No food at all. Nothing, no prepared food was there. Then they asked, Swami, where is the prasadam? Where we are hungry, would like to have something. Then Swami said, I know you will ask this question. Now you see, you open all the closets, you will find all rice, vegetables, pulses, spices, everything is there. I have supplied you with all resources. Now you have to cook and eat. So I am a sannyasi. I cannot provide you the ready-made food. So the meaning of this is, Vedas and Vedanta and the gospel can provide you all the resources. It is our mind who has to take these things and start. We have to light the stove. We have to put the vessels, water, and start cooking or baking. And we have to eat. So we have to take these spiritual gems and resources and contemplate in our heart and find our own way. for the God realization. So this is the message which we get from Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Now, why we read this book and what we get from this? First thing is, it is easy. Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratyakshavagamam Dharmyam Susukam Kartum Abhyaya. Bhagavan says in Bhagavad Gita, Kartum Susukam, very easy to do, very easy to understand. People who know Bengali, whose mother tongue is Bengali, they will literally enjoy the entire book. It is just a parables with beautiful, simple village parables. Sri Ramakrishna is going to convey the highest ideas. It is not at all tough. It is very, very easy. And it is not, since I said it is a Ramakrishna Gita, sometimes in our original Gita, there are so many confusing, contradicting slokas. Like Maya Tattamidam Sarvam Jagat Abhyakta Murtina Matsani Sarva Bhutani Nachaham Tesha Vastitaha Nacha Mastani Bhutani Pashame Yoga Maishwaram Bhuta Brinacha Bhutasto Mamamatma Bhuta Bhavana. It's a very confusing two slokas of Bhagavan. First, he says that the entire manifestation is pervaded by me. Then all beings dwell in me. Then immediately he says, I do not dwell in them. Then after that he said, no living being is abiding in me. First he says it is abiding in me, and second he says it is not abiding in me. Then he says this whole world is something like an illusion, or sometimes he says it is my divine Maya Shakti. The different interpretations are there for these two slokas by different Vedantic schools. Very confusing. Such a plight is not there when we read Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. It is very crystal clear and straightforward. We have to just open our heart and just follow it. The second thing is to educate ourselves. So what is the education? Who is God? Who are living beings? And what is this universe? So in technically we say ontology and epistemology. Ontology means what is truth. Epistemology means methods of knowing the truth. So all these are taught in the gospel. So the main is Brahman, consciousness or God or Ishvara. Then living beings, you, me, animals, plants as one cluster, and matter, the third. So these three, there are three things, three entities. How they are related? All the three are true, or only one is true, other two are illusion, or all the three are together as one entity, as a reality, or the three are different truths. So like that I'm not going into the philosophical exposition at this moment. It is a very big subject to discuss, and there are different schools of Vedanta differs in these three explanations, and that is a different day if possible we can take. Now all are eligible to study Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Bhagavan says, Chaturvida bhajante mam jana sukritino arjuna artho jignasu artharthi jnani cha bharadarshava. So Bhagavan says that there are four kinds of devotees. One is seeker, one is distressed, the devotees who are distressed. Second is one who seeks knowledge The third is one seeks for world possessions. And fourth is who is established in knowledge already. So Sri Ramakrishna doesn't discriminate anyone who reads. I mean, everyone is eligible for reading gospel. So there is a story in this. Ramakrishna, when he was in Dakshineshwar, there's lots of errands, when many activities happens, and one of his two disciples, that is monastic disciples, Niranjanananda and Yogananda, they used to do errands. So one day, Yogananda was sent to buy some vegetables and fruits from the market. So the Dakshineshwar was just a little bit aloof. But now in the city, but now you don't find Kolkata city like that. So they have to cross the Ganges to go to the market to procure these items. So Yogananda went and bought. They have to go by boat. That's that. Even now, boat ride is very beautiful in Kolkata. If people go to Kolkata, I think Alan is going next month. So I hope you will enjoy the boat ride. Please don't miss going in boat ride in Ganga. So he went and bought all the vegetables and is returning to Dakshineshwar. So while he was coming in the boat, some of the passengers were slandering Sri Ramakrishna. They said, "Oh, Ramakrishna is a mad fellow. He is a mad, he is spoiling all these youngsters' life. He is making them idle and useless." So like that, they were giving all backbiting, gossiping, all the negative things were spoken about Sri Ramakrishna. And Yogananda is his disciple. He didn't say anything. He kept quiet, very innocently listening to all these, his guru's slander. We say Guru Nindana. One should not, if somebody is talking ill about our mother or father, will we keep quiet? We'll just, rise our anger. But he didn't do anything. Then he took all the vegetables. He arrived to Dakshineshwar and reported this incident to Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna said, "You are a fool. How somebody is insulting your guru and you don't have any rage or anger against that person? What type of bravery and virility you have? You should show your anger. Be rajasic. You become so tamasic thinking that it is sattvic. No. Please do something. Be rajasic person." Then Yogananda said, "Okay, I am mistaken. Sorry, Swami, I will correct." Then the next day, Niranjananandaji, another of his monastic disciples, did the same work to buy vegetables and fruits from the market. So he crossed the Ganges, he procured everything and returning to Dakshineshwar. The same way in the boat, some were talking ill about Sri Ramakrishna. And same, like they were slandering, "Oh, Ramakrishna is an idiot, fool. He has all mesmerized, hypnotized all these youngsters and he has wasted their life," and on and on and on. Then Niranjanananda couldn't bear. He just became like a fire and he just warned. He said, "You rascals, how can you talk about my guru like this? I'm going to kill you. I'm going to throw you into this Ganges and drown you forever." And he started jerking the boat and people were panicked. I said that is going to be end of their life. And they pleaded to Niranjanananda. They said, "Oh, I'm sorry, we have just made this mistake. Please don't do anything." And they somehow reached the bank And Niranjananandaji came and reported this to Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna immediately scolded, rebuked, reprimanded him. How dare you can do these things to the people? You are a sadhu. You should maintain your sattvic quality. Why did you threaten them? So what if they speak ill about your guru? Where is your samadarshana? Your equal vision. It is not going to stain my purity. How can you behave like this being a monk? It's not good for you to be like this. Have sattvic quality. Your rajasic quality is too much. See how Sri Ramakrishna differs in his teachings. The message here is, in a car tire, we need to fill air. If it is less, we add air. If it is more air, we reduce the air out of the tire. So we leak the air out of the tire. So for Yogananda, he needs some virility and courage. So he pumped the air into his tire. For here, there are too much air. So he wants to take out some to keep the balance poised. So sattva, raja and tama should be in balanced. Only then that will be a recipient for the yogic power, and then through yoga we progress towards God realization or God centeredness. So this is the one of the main teaching of Sri Ramakrishna. Now we get all the spiritual qualities to attain the highest goal. So to attain God, we need to develop some qualities. And what are those qualities? According to Shankaracharya, in his Brahma Sutra, he defines the aspirant's needs these qualities. That is Nitya, Anitya, Vastu, Vivekaha. First, Sadhana Sampat. Third, Ihamutra, Phala, Bhoga, Viragaha. I will come to the meaning of that. Then Mumukshutva. So there are 4 qualities aspirant should have. Now the meaning is Vivekaha. First is Vivekaha, that is discrimination between real and unreal. Now, what is real, what is unreal? These are all very big subjects that we will see according to Ramakrishna, what is real, what is not real later when we meet. Then Sadhana Sampat, there are Shat Sampat. There are 6 qualities one should have to attain God. One is tranquility, then training of the senses, then withdrawal, forbearance, faith and focus. Then Vairagya, that is detachment. Again, I tell you, we are not going to give up this world. What we are going to give up is worldliness. That is the one we are going to develop through our detachment, not the world. Mumukshutva, that desire to have freedom, desire to know God, desire to achieve God. This is very important. Now, with all these, now let us shift from Shankaracharya to Ramanujacharya. Now, Ramanujacharya, in his magnum opus Sri Bhashya, he says, Sri Bhashya means commentary on Vedanta Sutra. He says, Smriti Lambe Sarva Grantinam Vipramokshaha. The meaning is intensified remembrance of God. That is, I repeat, Smriti Lambe Sarva Grantinam Vipra Mokshaga. This is from the Chandogya Upanishad verses. On the acquisition of this memory, there is complete loosening of our knots. So when we keep continuously thinking about God, our knots, which we bind us to this weakness, get released. It becomes unbinded. So with the intensified remembrance of God will make us to be eligible for God. That is said in the Katha Upanishad. So Katha Upanishad says, only through God's grace we are going to attain liberation. There is Nayamatma Pravachanena Labhyaha, Na Medayana Bhaguna Srutena, Yam Eva Yesha Brunite Tena Labhyaha, Tasyaisha Atma Vibhrunite Tanusya. So only a dearest one will be chosen by the Lord. So we need to make ourselves an eligible to be loved by God. So all these things we are going to gain when we read in our Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Then he says, Ramanuja says that bhakti, he defines bhakti. So when we make ourselves an eligible for our lover, we have our sweetheart, and we should make ourselves qualified according to our sweetheart's intention or goal. Only then the person can love us. So that is called bhakti. So he defines bhakti as evam rupa dhruvanusmriti reva bhakti shabdena abhidiyate. Meaning is permanent post remembrance of God is knowledge and becoming fit to receive his grace, alone denoted by the word bhakti. So permanent post remembrance knowledge and becoming fit to receive the grace, alone denoted by the word bhakti. That is the definition of bhakti given by Ramanujacharya in his Sri Bhashya. Now, why I am saying all these things? These qualities will be automatically developed when we read Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. So that is the aspirant's eligibility according to Shankaracharya, aspirant's eligibility according to Ramanujacharya. Now wait, I have to say about Madhvacharya. That is the third school of Vedanta. So he says, including all the above of the previous acharyas, and he adds one more thing is to become an obedient servant of God. So I told you in the beginning that you are the operator, I am the machine. You are the master, I am the servant. So this is the one of the main message of Sri Ramakrishna. So we must know how to be an obedient servant of God. That is explained by, that is one of the basic eligibility. That knowledge contains a basic eligibility for an aspirant according to Madhvacharya. He is not denying the previous acharya's qualifications of an aspirant, but he adds this, the how to be an obedient servant of God. How to make all our work as a service to God. This is taught by Madhvacharya. Now the last is, this gospel will be like a Hanuman between Sita and Ramachandra. Sita is a representative of an individual soul like you, me, and all of us. And Ramachandra is a permanent Paramatman. We all know that they got parted in the Ramayana, And I hope Susie knows the story. I don't know, but Phil, they were husband and wife, and due to some desire, wrong desire, the wife was hijacked or absconded by a demon, and they were parted,
Kidnapped.
kidnapped. Yeah. And that demon is a 10-headed demon. Again, this 10-headed as a symbolic representation as per Vedanta. That is nothing but 10 senses. That is the senses of work and senses of knowledge. And the Ramchandra is the representative of the God or Brahman, and the individual soul is the Sita. Now we have to be one with God. So the Sita has to be united with Ramachandra. So the messenger here is, the bridge is Hanuman. So the Hanuman has to take the message of Ramachandra to Sita, and Sita gives the message to Hanuman, and he brings the message to Ramachandra, and they are emotionally get united. So that's the very important role of Hanuman. So Hanuman is, what is Hanuman? Hanuman is our mind. So there is a beautiful sloka in Srimad Ramayana. It says, Yasya Tvethani Chatvari Vanarendra Yadatava Driti Drishti Smatir Daksham Sa Karmasu Na Sidati. Meaning is, O best of Vanaras. Vanara means monkeys. The best of the mind. The mind is purified mind. Most of our minds are always have some other thoughts and dissipated mind. When it becomes a concentrated mind, it becomes a purified mind. So the best of the Vanaras, whoever has these 4 qualities. What are the 4 qualities? Courage, vision, intellect, and skill. Together as a purified mind. So I repeat, courage, vision, intellect, and skill. That is Dhriti, Drishti, Matir, and Daksham. And when these 4 virtuous skills are concentrated, then that mind is pure mind, and that person will not fail in any task. So with this quality of the mind, then the Paramatman and Jivatman gets united, and we say one with Brahman. So that is the achievement happens. So when we read gospel, we get all these qualities. So that is, it is easy, and to educate ourselves with the reality of the world and the God and the world, what to know, what we should not know. Then the third is eligibility of seeking the highest, and teaching differs according to the devotees. Then fourth, we get all the spiritual qualities that one should have to develop, to attain towards the highest goal. And then the final thing is, gospel will be like a Hanuman, which is going to bridge the relationship between Jivatma and Paramatma. In gospel, we will see many times Thakur talks about Hanuman's relationship with Paramatma. So I will conclude for today's talk with this. In fact, the next meeting, we will talk about other works, other things about the gospel. One is the Mangalacharana. Why the gospel chose the Gopika, the slokam from Gopika's Geetam as the Mangalacharana. Mangalacharana means the starting hymn, introduction hymn, spiritual praise for the gospel. So we say Tava Katamritam Tapta Jivanam Kavi Biriditam Kalma Shapakam Sravana Mangalam Sri Madatatam Bhuvi Grinantite Burida Janaha. So this is the Mangala Sloka. Mangala Sloka means auspicious hymn before we start gospel. Then why this God? Why did Master Mahashai, that is the author, I mean the recorder of this gospel, chose this from Gopika Gita? We could have chosen many things from many scriptures, but why this particular thing was chosen from the Srimad Bhagavatam? That we shall discuss, and many other things we shall discuss in our next meeting. So with this, I conclude. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.
We'll do one arti. Should we do Kannanava or any other song?
No, the time is not there.
Then we will sing this one. Well, but yeah. So we'll sing Gahore, this one. If you know, you can follow. Otherwise, it's just repeating each line two times. Okay. Pretty easy song. The words are there. Gahore Jaya Jaya Ramakrishna Nam. Gahore Jaya Jaya Ramakrishna Nam. Ajiye Shubha Dina Miliye Bhagat Jana. Ajiye Shubha Dina Miliye Bhagat Jana. Gaho Gaho Ramakrishna Nam. Gahore Jaya Jaya Ramakrishna Nam. Gahore Jaya Jaya Ramakrishna Nam. Ramakrishna Name Ramakrishna Preme. Ramakrishna Name Ramakrishna Preme. Matiya Utag Daradha. Gahore Jaya Jaya Ramakrishna Nam. Gahore Jaya Jaya Ramakrishna Nam. Hari De Bhubar Prema Avatar. Hari De Bhubar Prema Avatar. Prabhu Ramakrishna Gunadhar. Gahore Jaya Jaya Ramakrishna Nam. Gahore Jaya Jaya Ramakrishna Nam. Jai Rama Jai Krishna Krishna Guru Rama Krishna. Jai Rama Jai Krishna Vishwa Guru Rama Krishna. Ekadare Chama Shiva Cham. Gahore Jaya Jaya Rama Krishna Nam. Gahore Jaya Jaya Rama Krishna Nam. Gahore Jaya Jaya Rama Krishna Nam.
Jai
Jai Shri Guru Maharaj Ji ki. Jai Shri Mahamai ki. Jai Shri Swamiji Maharaj Ji ki. Jai Shri Shri Durga Mai ki. So one announcement. If like we have a WhatsApp group for this meeting, so if you are not in the WhatsApp group, just let me know. I can add you to the WhatsApp group. And next meeting will be like This is third Wednesday, right? So the first Wednesday of February. So
and we will send, like as we are saying, the weekly thing on the Sunday before that. Keep an eye out. Temple should send a circular.
From temple will get circular also. Email also will get. But if you in WhatsApp group, put the message in WhatsApp group as well. So that's the thing. And then you can, like everyone can have, please have prasad and